All right, so we're going to be doing solving equation using nth roots, and we're going to do a warm-up for us to get started here, all right? So, we're going to go jump right into it, and we're going to look at the first problem where you have 4x minus 9 equals 11. All this will, kind of come together and relate to what we've been previously doing this unit. So, let's just jump right in. We got 4x minus 9 equals 11. All right, and the first thing we want to do is draw a little squiggly line down the middle, and we want to get all of our variables on one side and our constants on the other. So we are going to add 9 to both sides, because the way that we undo a minus 9 is by doing a plus 9. All right, so we'll be left over. This will cancel out. All right, and this will now equal 20, and we will be left with 4x. All right, now to remember, if we're reading this as 4 times x equals 20, to get that 4 away from that x, we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which in this instance is division. So we will divide each side by 4. All right, those 4's will cancel out. Right, and if we plug 20 divided by 4 into our calculator, all right, we get 5, and x will be equal to 5. And there's your answer. All right, so there's problem 1. Problem 2, we have 5x plus 3 equals 18. Similar, we're going to draw our squiggly line, all right, and now we have 5x plus 3 on one side. To get rid of that plus 3, we're going to do the opposite, which is subtracting 3 from each side. Right? You do to one side, you do it to the other. Those 3's will cancel out. Over here, we'll be left with that 5x is equal to 18 minus 3 is 15. All right? Now we have 5x equals 15. Now just like in the previous problem, right, to get rid of that 5x, all right, 5 times x, we must divide. So we're going to divide each side by 5. All right, and we can plug in our calculator 15 divided by 5, and you get 3. So our final answer will be, that cancels out, x is equal to 3. All right? So these first 2 problems were, your these basic solving equations, all right, and it's going to kind of still stay the same with that, all right, but now we're going to incorporate where our x value is going to have a power to it. So here we have x to the second power is minus 8 is equal to 17. Now we're going to start this problem the same way we just did the past 2 problems, and draw a little squiggly line. We're going to get that minus 8 and move it on over. So the opposite of minus 8 is plus 8. We shall do that to both sides. All right, 17 plus 8 is equal to 25. Okay, all right, and now over here we have x to the second power. All right, we just brought it down. Literally just brought this down. Okay, now from here, all right, we can't divide anything. So what we're going to do is, if we have a power, all right, you must root it to whatever that power is. So in this instance, we shall root this x to the second power. Okay, we'll square root it. All right, or we can even put that 2 there, and you'll see how that's going to work. And if you do it to one side, you're going to do it to the other. So on your calculators, all right, you can hit the math button, all right, and go down to 5. Which will have that x. Now we want to go over, we want to actually type in that 2. All right, and we're going to plug in that 25, because that's on the other side of the equation. All right, and your answer here will be 5. Now, it is important to note, all right, that this will now cancel out. You'll be left with an x. All right, and it says 5. Now, in this instance, all right, remember, if we have an even, okay, our number up on the shelf, all right, you can have more than one solution. So in this case, it can also be the opposite, which is the negative, all right, which is negative 5. All right. look at number 4. We got 3x squared minus 4 equals 8. All right? We're going to draw our little squiggly line here. All right? Now what we are going to do is do the minus 4. To undo the minus 4, we're going to be doing plus 4 on each side. All right? So this will be equal to, now, 8 plus 4 is 12. We've got 3x squared, which came down, right, is equal to 12. Right? Right? Now to undo that, okay, now we can't root anything because we still have that 3 in front of that x. So we'll need to actually divide each side by 3. Right? So those 3's will cancel out, and we shall be left with x squared is equal to the number. Now 12 divided by 3, our calculator is 4. Alright? So from there, we can now root this. And we're going to use the 2 because we want to put the same number that it's set to the power 2. Remember, that will cancel out. We got x is equal to, and then we'll hit our math button. Alright, we will hit 5. We'll go over, alright, we'll hit that 2 right there. Alright, and then we'll throw in our 4, and our answer will be 2. Now, we have an even number, alright, so that means more than one potential answer, so we will have 2 or negative 2. Alright, I'll zoom out. Alright, and number 3 and number 4, how did we get rid of the x squared? Well, we square rooted it. Alright, we square rooted it. Alright, now we are going to jump into, alright, our next set of problems. So, we're going to be using radicals to solve equations, and here are the examples. Alright, you'll want to make sure that you have these in your notes. Alright, so, alright, so we have x to the third power equals 27. Alright, now, just like we did in the previous problems, alright, we have this to the third power. To undo that, we must root it, but we must also root it to whatever it is raised to. And in this case, it's raised to the third power, so we will root it to the third power. And if you do it on one side, you must do it on the other. Okay, so we have now in our calculator, you'll actually just type 3 and then you'll hit math and then you'll hit number 5. All right, and now you can see it's already there for you. All right, and you will plug in 27. And your answer is 3. So by raising it, you know, this all cancels. So we're left with x is equal to 3. X is equal to 3. And next, we have x to the fifth power minus 9 equals 23. All right. From here, okay, same way we just did in the warm-up. All right, we'll draw our little squiggly line. We need to get rid of that minus 9. To get rid of a minus 9, what is the opposite of minus 9? Plus 9. Plus 9. All right, so we're going to add 9 to both sides. All right, so now that cancels out, and we are left with 23 plus 9, which is 32. Alright, and then we're going to bring down, alright, this x to the fifth power because we've done nothing to it. We need to do something with it. Alright? From there, just like we did in the previous problem, alright, we had x to the third power, alright, and then we rooted it to, to the third. Alright, we're going to do this, we're going to root this to the same thing, but we're going to root it to the fifth. Alright, because that's what it is raised to. So, we will root that to the fifth power. So, we will just start by doing that in our calculator. Pay close attention. We will type that 5 because that's going to be on our shelf. Then we will hit the math key. Alright, and then we either could scroll down to number 5 or type the number 5, doesn't matter. We'll hit enter, and then we'll plug in our 32. We'll hit enter. Alright, and our answer here, remember we have an odd number, alright, that's up on our shelf, which means we'll have one solution. Alright, so x will be equal to 2. Alright, so we will not have more than one solution. Alright. You guys will flip the page and we will look at the next problem. We got 4x to the fifth power equals 128. Alright. 4x to the fifth power equals 128. I'm going to clear my calculator. I'm going to start fresh. Alright. And we're going to solve this the same way that we would any equation. Alright. We got 4x to the fifth power. That means 4 times x to the fifth power is equal to 128. All right, we need to undo that multiplication. To undo that multiplication, we must divide each side by 4. All right, that'll get rid of those 4s. It'll leave us with an x to the fifth power. And that'll be equal to whatever 128 divided by 4 is, which in this case, 128 divided by 4 is equal to 32. Look at that, looking very eerily similar to the previous problem we just did. All right, to get rid of that fifth power, we'll put 5 on the shelf. All right. So remember, in our calculator, we will type 5 first. Math. I'm going to hit 5. And I can plug in my number, which in this case is 32. Again, we already know what this is going to be. All right, x is going to be equal to 2. All right, next. We got 2x to the third power plus 18 equals 164. All right, 2x to the third power plus 18 is equal to 164. All right, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to draw a little squiggly line. We want to get rid of that 18. It's a plus 18, so we are going to subtract 18 from both sides. All right, so 164 minus 18 is equal to 146. Right, if that cancels out, we're left with 2x to the third power. All we did was bring it down. All right, we brought it down. Just bring it down. All right, now we want to get rid of that 2 that's in front of that x to the third power. Because what does it read as? It reads as 2 times x to the third power is equal to 146. So to undo that, we must divide. All right, undo multiplication, we divide by whatever that front number is. So we're going to do that to each side. All right, we'll be left with x to the third power over here is equal to 146 divided by 2, which is 73. Just as we have done in all of the previous problems, nothing will change. All right? This is x raised to the third power, so we will root it to the third power. Or to 3. Alright? It's cubing it. Alright, so I will start by typing a 3 in my calculator, and then I will hit the math button, and then hit number 5, and then I will type in my 73. And I get 4.179339196. Now I don't need to write down that whole number. Remember, this is just going to be x equals. I do have an odd number. Alright, that, that 3, making it, there'll be one solution. If I round that, I look at the 9 in the third place, I can make this 4.18. Alright, I just took it straight from the calculator. Alright, last set of problems. Alright, we have, in parentheses, we have x minus 3. Alright, and then it is raised to the fourth power equals 21. Well, I want to get rid of that raised to the fourth power, so to do that, I'm going to root it by 4. Alright? And by doing that, I will now have x minus 3 is equal to whatever that root's going to be. So in this case, I'm going to clear it. I'm going to hit 4, math. Alright, go down to number 5. And I'm going to type in my 21. And I get 2.14. Alright. Now here, I need to add, I still am not done because I need to get rid of that minus 3, so I'm going to add 3, alright, to both sides. X will be equal to 2.14 plus 3, which is 5.14. Looking at the next one, we have x in parentheses, we've got x plus 7 to the fifth power equals 243. All right, we will start out by rooting it, whatever it's raised to. In this case, it's 5, so we will do the same thing over here. All right, we're left with x plus 7 equals, all right, I'm going to clear that. We're going to do 5, hit the math button. Go down to 5, we'll do 243, we get 3. Nice easy number right there. Alright. Now we have x plus 7 equals 3. We can go back and minus 7 from each side. Alright. This will cancel out. We'll be left with x, and we're going to do 3 minus 7. Which is negative 4.